Okay, we're gonna make boba today. Come over here and look in here. So we're gonna start with 60 grams of water and 45 grams of sugar. This is dark brown sugar. And I'm gonna put it into this pan at about half medium heat. I'm gonna pour the water in first. Sugar. Use a nice sturdy spoon because it gets really hard to stir once you add some tapioca to it. I think it's dissolved enough now. I'm gonna add just a spoonful from my 90 grams of tapioca flour or tapioca starch. I'm gonna turn off the heat while I get this homogeneous. Trying to get rid of all the white clumps. And you can see there's darker strings that are forming in there. That means it's doing its thing, becoming gelatinous. I'm going to turn on the heat to 5 again. See if we can get rid of some of these clumps. I think this is good enough. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the starch. Turn off the heat. Move it off the burner. Start mixing this into a dough. I promise it will come together. All of that starch will get incorporated. it's starting to stick, so I'm gonna add some tapioca starch. And then we can get it onto the board over here that's covered in some tapioca starch. Here comes the kneading process. It's a little hot. Now it's finally not sticking as much anymore. I might add a little more starch because it does stick a little bit and we don't want it to stick. Too much. Feels very smooth. Still warm, not too sticky. Can break like that. Just slightly stretchy, but okay, so you should be able to rip it apart like that. It shouldn't be too stretchy. Now you want to roll it into snakes, which I think is the hardest part. Let's try again. We made all the snakes and we're gonna start cutting them into pieces that are small enough to go through the boba straw. Why? Why? Those are a little small. My knife has been usurped. Don't cut the table. So now we have all of these nice little pieces. Some of them need to separate a little bit. Make sure they're nice and covered in starch so that they're easily movable. And now is Some of the hardest parts of this whole process. You have to roll them into balls. That's kind of an oval. Now, one thing I wanted to try that I've seen others try is having a little bit of wetness. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll see. Maybe. So it takes forever. That's why if we ever open a boba shop and we want to make it the old-fashioned way rather than buying boba pearls, we're gonna get one of those machines that makes dough into balls. So I'm still making these balls. I haven't made a whole lot of headway. It takes a long time. They're starting to dry out, so I think I want to put some saran wrap over them. One thing I just wanted to mention was, of course, the other way you can make them into spheres is by rubbing them through your fingers rather than just the palm way. Then you get 2 at a time. Sometimes it works if you do a couple at a time. Well, it worked initially, and then I had to keep going. Let's see if the water will work again.
Okay.
We'll keep going at it. Okay, so after all this time, maybe 10-15 minutes of rolling these, we kind of came up with a better, faster solution where you basically take it in your hand and squeeze it a little bit on the sides, and it's basically close enough. Just squeeze them on the edges, and it kind of pushes it into a ball shape already. So we're back. We finished all of the ball making. They look pretty good. Some were far too dry and kind of crumbling, so I added a little bit of water and re-kneaded it and cut it into pieces and was able to add it straight into the rest of them. Some are pretty crumbly or pretty dry, so I do wonder if I added too much starch, was way too liberal with the starch when I was kneading it. We'll see how they turn out. We've made it like 3 times or 4 times this past week, and it's turned out great every time, but this time I was way too liberal with the starch, so we'll just see how it goes. So we have the water boiling now. We hiked it way up so that it would get to boiling. I'm going to turn it down to half power, medium. And is it too hot? No. It's really boiling. Now it's settling a little bit. Here's our tapioca pearls. I'll put them in here. And stir them gently so they don't stick together. Something we haven't seen before is these little pieces, so I think that's because they were dry, but hopefully overall they'll be okay. And once they start to float, well, not start to float, once they all float, then we'll go ahead and put the cap on and set a timer for 15 minutes. But we'll watch them float right now. You have to make sure you have a lot of water. We didn't measure the water. We just want to make sure there's a lot of water ratio to pearls. So we filled this up pretty much as far as we could and poured all our small batch of pearls in there. I think they need to have surface area in the water, so. Now it looks like they're all floating. I'm gonna put the cap back on, set the timer for 15 minutes, and we'll see you back in 15. So we're back after 15 minutes. Timer's going off. We're gonna turn off the heat. Take a little look in there. Kind of look like corn pops. We're gonna let it sit covered. I think I'll move it off the heat. Or at least the warm burner. And we'll let it sit for 20 minutes. Be back soon. So now we've come back after 20 minutes. Let's take a look. Looking pretty good. See if I can grab any. Now we're gonna pour them out. Into a sieve. They look beautiful. I'm gonna rinse them with cool water. They kind of stick to the sieve, so, but they have enough integrity that you can kind of scrape them off. And now we're gonna add some brown sugar, because supposedly the brown sugar added to there helps keep it from sticking together. So you can just leave them like this. But now we're also gonna take a stab at sauteing them in brown sugar so that it becomes a sort of syrup with boba pearls in it that we can coat a glass with, add milk to, so we have brown sugar milk with tapioca pearls. So now we're gonna try and get this going. I'm gonna put it medium? Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little higher. Oh, a little lower. Oh. So that's about 4 medium scale.
Spoon?
Yeah, where'd my spoon go? Not that one. I guess, well, no. Oh, the spoon's in there. Look at that. I don't really know. We're kind of winging it. So I'm just gonna put a good amount of sugar in there. Is that enough, I think?
Yeah, a little more.
A little more?
Why not?
Okay. It's taking the reins.
Unless you want to do it.
No, it's okay. Gonna get get this melted down. This is a heat-resistant silicone covered spoon. You want to make sure it's heat-resistant.
I want to turn it off. Come back.
Not really. Want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna keep getting at this, trying to make it melt just exactly like we're showing here. We'll come back once we get it there. We just turned up the heat a little bit to around 5 to try and get it to melt a little bit more. Pan's still heating up. Still at the solid sugar phase. Come back in a minute.
Are you holding the button?
I don't know. We're gonna try something new where we let it sit and melt a little bit rather than pushing it around the whole time, because I think it's not having enough time to melt.
There
Oh,
it
see?
goes.
Yeah, there we go.
Burning.
No, it's not burning. It's melting.
Okay.
I turned it down a little bit to 4. It's smelling nice.
There it goes. Do we have ice?
Hopefully it's frozen by now.
You used all the ice?
Yeah. Well, it's starting to turn into a little bit of a syrupy.
Hope it doesn't burn.
Turn it down.
Maybe we should add more sugar? Okay. Okay. Add the boba.
Okay. Oh, it caramelized.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That didn't work.
What happened? What happened?
It caramelized.
Oh no.
Wow, that's solid as a rock.
Well, we'll
That's
try it
nice.
anyways.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Okay, we're gonna try it. Oops.
It's okay. A little candy.
There we go. Wanna distribute the brown sugar goodness around the cup.
Want some more in there?
Okay. Try to avoid those pieces.
Get a little candy treat.
Yeah. Oops. I've added a few ice cubes to it. I'm gonna add some whole milk. Use our straw that we've kept from a tapioca trip. Should I try it?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Good.
Your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Carl says it's good, but doesn't want to be on camera. So, could it be better or was it good? Yeah, it could. How?
Yeah. More syrupy. Kind of all the sugar solidified. I just got a really bad close up on your face.
This
Now
is
I
whole
know.
milk. The texture of the boba pearls is good.
Is that it?
I think so.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. This is what it looks like after we've added some more brown sugar just to the warm pearls. Take a look in here. Kind of created a better syrup with some gelatinous texture to the syrup, probably leaking from the tapioca pearls. But anyway, I added a little bit to mine and it was really tasty, so I'm sure this one's going to be fantastic. Try it.
Relying on briefings and not insisting on the documents. It took me about 3 weeks. I went over to the Department of Justice. I sat there for 4 hours. That's when I saw that Peter Strzok actually initiated and approved Crossfire Hurricane. That's when I saw the exculpatory information on George Papadopoulos. That's when I saw for the documents that it was the Trump campaign mentioned in that predicate document. They've been telling us all along, Trump's not the target, the campaign's not the target. So, yes, my mistake was relying on the word of the FBI and the DOJ and not insisting on the documents. Right. Luckily, it took me about 3 weeks to correct that mistake.
So here's the question. America really is at a crossroads right now. Are we going to listen to people that we know have been lying to us, the media? I mean, the media now has, and even with the left, the media now has a lower score for cockroaches, don't they? America's favorite things are most trusted than cockroaches, I believe, are higher on the list than the media. They have the lowest score they've ever had. And it's not just coming from one side. Now, one side believes them more than the other, but we have to ask ourselves now, if we're being honest, what do we do? Do we continue to accept what they say is truth or not? Because they're now being made into authoritative sources for social media. Are they authoritative sources? Is this what we want? Twitter is now labeling misleading coronavirus info, and that is only going to open up a whole new can of worms. Personally, you need to join us at the Blaze. We exist because of your subscriptions. We can only do what we do because of your subscriptions, and I think we provide real value. We have shows now on the network that are just A1, and we're looking to join with more voices and support more voices, but you get more than your money's worth. It's about, what is it, think that the media is going to carry the water here for our Attorney General Barr and support the rule of law? You got another thing coming. Did you see yesterday that the 2,000 former FBI officials came out against Attorney General Barr? I mean, I can't believe it. I just don't know what's happening. How can 2,000 agents come out? Who organized that? But where are the other agents that are supporting the rule of law? There's a lot of agents, right? And this becomes a political thing. No, I know. If you don't like the administration, shouldn't be. And it usually isn't. I mean, there also is an element here of, when you're talking about people like Comey, for example, you're talking about going out asking for help. And that's not always looked upon so positively by institutions. So that could be also an element at play. Comey has done more to damage the regular FBI agent than any person other than maybe Hoover in the history of the FBI. I mean, he's taken people who believed and supported the FBI in almost on everything, and has taken those people and made them question at best how they feel about the FBI. It's pretty remarkable the damage that has been done there. All right, coming up in just a second, we've got to talk about Elon Musk. Also, Megyn Kelly will be joining us. She's going to talk about her interview with Tara Reid and also the media. What is happening with the media today? How do we trust anything? That's all coming up today on the Glenn Beck program.
This is the Glenn Beck program.
All right, here's the thing about trust. It is earned. And if you're like me, you've been putting your trust in Mike Lindell and his My Pillow for the best night's sleep that you can imagine for a while now. Mike appreciates that. And I'm going to go off of the commercial copy here and say sometimes when somebody goes the extra mile, it's worth thanking them when they're really fighting in your corner. Mike has done some amazing things, and if you've ever watched my podcast with Mike Lindell, he is using all of the money that My Pillow makes for really good. He believes he's on God's mission, and I think he might be. He is really doing some amazing things, and he has retooled his factory during this time to make masks and everything else, at great expense to him. Maybe you might want to check out one of his 2-for-1 offers. They got it for everything on mypillow.com, but we've trusted him, he's trusted us, and if you are looking for great sheets or a ball pillow or the elegance pillow, all kinds of things, 60-day money-back guarantee, mypillow.com, promo code BECK. And you go to blazetv.com/Glenn, use the promo code Glenn, a few days left for $30 off. Elon Musk is a global warming guy. I mean, that's why he's planning on going to Mars. He's so convinced about global warming. Okay, so he's not exactly a conservative, but he is great. I just love him. He's an entrepreneur. He's Tony Stark. Let's be honest. He is living the life of Tony Stark, and using his money in all the ways that you would hope to use your money if you were really, really rich and a genius. Well, he is in an argument now with California. And California has said you can't open your factory. And so when are they saying I'm opening it up today. That's today. And if you want to arrest me, go ahead. I'll be on the line. So now California is really, really pissed. They're defying their orders. I don't get an authority from you. Some little coronavirus commission. Nobody elected you. No. I'm running my they started to come back online. And he's threatening to move to Texas or Nevada, which you can move to Nevada, but you will be welcome here in Texas, Mr. Musk.
That Newsom kind of gave him the go-ahead, and then it was some non-elected county official that said,
No, you're not restarting that.
I was like, oh, were you? No, I'm going to restart it. So I think good for him. It's unconstitutional.
I hope they arrest him. I hope they do. They won't. I hope they do. Because he has the money to make. He's not
You know what else is really cool about Elon Musk is he's the only billionaire hobo I know of. He says he's going to be without a house. He's getting rid of all of his possessions. He's supposedly incredibly cash poor. He's just a billionaire on paper. Apparently, a lot of cash flow. At least that's what they say, and that's what he said in the past. So it's kind of interesting to see the way he operates. He talks about his own stock. He talks about not having any possessions ever. He's a really interesting guy.
If there's anybody I could interview today, my dream interview probably would be Elon Musk. Is a Nikola Tesla. All the things that implies, and you mean the crazy part. I hope they arrest him because he won't sit down. He will not sit down.
It's fun too because the left now hates it just for the reasons we've been talking about. They insist on pulling his back rate again, and
They can't take their zero tolerance policy. You disagree with one thing on the left, and you're out.
absolutely. So this one's really interesting to me because he seems to be, he's against the lockdowns, right? And the president is still, he's obviously called for 6 weeks of lockdown, and he said he's been defending it on Twitter recently that it was the right policy to do, and yet now opposition. Policy for 6 weeks, right? He's now trying to get people to open, and he's saying, and he's right, even after the lockdown expired, he was criticizing the Georgia governor for doing too much too fast. So, I don't think Trump is in a situation where he has been advocating this. Media tries to make him out to be this crazy radical character where he's like, everyone go out and seize on each other. But that's not what he's done at all. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. And so, and what Musk is doing here is he's been saying like, open it up, blah blah blah. Like that is in addition to what Donald Trump is saying, which usually immediately guarantees you're on the right side of the left, because whatever that Trump says, if you're on the left, you have to disagree with it. What is funny is they just are reading into his mindset and saying, well, he doesn't actually believe it. He doesn't actually believe it.
He's actually come out and said that this is fascistic. What's happening is fascistic.
Musk?
So he's not. I don't think